My spouse referred to me as a cash machine in front of her colleagues at a gathering, and then her friend revealed evidence of her infidelity, claiming to her lover that we had a non-exclusive marriage. Devastated, I decided to end things with her. I never thought I'd find myself in such a mess. My wife, 32, and I, 34, have been married for 6 years. Until recently, I believed we had a strong partnership, but everything changed a few days ago. Last weekend, my wife invited me to a party to meet her new work acquaintances. She'd recently started a new job and was spending a lot of time with these coworkers. I'd been feeling a bit neglected since she was always at happy hours or outings without me, so I was eager to connect with the people she constantly talked about. At the downtown bar where the party was held, my wife quickly left me to mingle with her colleagues. I tried to join in, but she barely acknowledged my presence. She introduced me once, casually saying, "Oh, this is my husband," without even mentioning my name, then resumed her animated conversations as if I were invisible. I found myself lingering awkwardly on the fringes of her group, my attempts to engage ignored or brushed off. It was mortifying and disorienting. To make matters worse, one of her coworkers, let's call him Mark, mid-30s, was overly familiar with her. He kept leaning in close, touching her shoulder or back, and she seemed perfectly comfortable with it, even flirting back. Giggling at his quips and lightly touching his arm. At one point, I saw him slide his arm around her waist, and she just smiled. I tried to intervene subtly by stepping closer and asking, "Everything all right here?" She shot me a dismissive glance and said, "We're just chatting, it's fine," without bothering to introduce me to Mark. He gave me a smug look before releasing her. Not wanting to cause a scene, I suppressed my frustration and kept my distance. Thankfully, one of the other guests, an old college friend of my wife's named Sarah, noticed my discomfort and came over to chat, saving me from standing alone. I was grateful for her kindness. Sarah even quietly remarked that it seemed like Mark didn't realize I was her husband. I felt utterly ignored by my own wife. Later that evening, as the group grew louder and drunker, I stayed mostly sober. Standing a few feet behind my wife and her friends, including Mark, I overheard something I couldn't believe. Over the music, my wife laughed and said, "Oh, him, he's just my bank account." I thought I'd misheard, but then Mark chimed in, "Bank account? So he's covering the tab tonight?" My wife, still chuckling, replied, "He funds my whole lifestyle. That's what husbands are for, right?" I was right there, and the words cut deep. I was stunned, hurt, and furious to hear her reduce me to a paycheck in front of her new friends. She turned and saw me, her eyes widening briefly as she realized I'd heard. Instead of apologizing, she played it off, asking, "Hey, you okay? You look upset." I was so angry I could barely respond. I muttered that I needed some air and walked outside. She didn't follow or check on me. Sarah, who'd seen me leave, came out to make sure I was all right. I vented to her about what I'd overheard, and she admitted she'd heard it too and thought it was awful. She apologized for my wife's behavior, clearly uneasy. I decided I wasn't going back to the party. I texted my wife that I was heading home and she could find her own ride. I took a cab, reeling from the humiliation. 6 years of marriage, and this is how she talks about me. She didn't even text or call to check on me. She stumbled home around 1 or 2 a.m., drunk. I can't tell you the full story in short. To watch the full story, click the related link below.